If I go back even before Marvel, drafting wasn't something that was really even included in the prepping process of a motion picture. The idea of, plotting lights similar to a live event wasn't really done much. We definitely needed to have plotting of some sort, but sometimes it literally was just some chicken scratch, sketching out, getting a blueprint from the art department and just penciling in where things are going to go. It's become a thing where now having a draftsperson in the lighting department is a common thing. And for me and for a lot of the ones who do a lot of the drafting, we're brought on early. It's not unheard of for the gaffer to start and then the draftsperson to come in either that same week they start or maybe the week after. And then once that happens, it's sort of a collaborative discussion between the cinematographer, the gaffer, and the draftsperson about what is it we want. The cinematographer is usually more of a visual, like this is what I want it to look like. And the gaffer basically takes that and has to interpret that into what kind of gear is needed for that. And then my job as a draftsman is to interpret that into what's possible.
My collaboration process with Scott is intimate and important. He really allows me the space to figure out what the right thing is. What can we create logistically? What can we actually do? He'll 3D model a set, so we can walk through the set and almost look at it before it's even built and say, let's put a light there, let's put a light there. We're gonna need to fill this hole. And oftentimes, working with Scott drives sometimes how the sets are built, because we'll have to go to construction and the art department and say, we're gonna need these ceilings to be able to be wild so that we can have this kind of light in here. Or we're gonna need to build in these headers so that we can hide our movie lights, where it looks like there's a ceiling piece. And it's really a jumping off point, not just for myself, but it's also a great place for us to give a visual representation to the cinematographer before we spend millions of dollars building and implementing something.
What they're doing with the lighting plot after the first pass is really setting the foundation for the rigging and creating that timetable, right? Because of how many lights there are and how they all correspond to each other and how they're working all together. I mean, I need to kind of know that information so I can determine how much labor and how much time or access to various locations I need to go negotiate for. I couldn't imagine doing these level of movies without having a data team or drafts people create those Vectorworks files. There's been a fundamental shift in the technology and how we use it.
When it comes time for me to start plotting in Vectorworks, instead of getting CAD files, I would usually get like PDFs, reflective ceiling plans, elevation sections, any kind of details. I just get everything. And the way I work is I literally read those plans just like a construction foreman would, and I remodel the thing from scratch. In addition to taking those drawings from our department, drafting them out in Vectorworks, I also have to take moments where I walk on the stage, take photos, ask construction foremen questions about what are you adding, what are you taking away, and then take all of those changes, bring them back, and make a proper drawing that's more accurate to what's on stage than what they drew in the art department.
We were doing Spider-Man No Way Home, and Doctor Strange has they call it the Undercroft, and it was under the Sanctorum. There was a cavernous area where they were housing all of the villains as they apprehended them. And the production designer was building a cave, and he was building a really beautiful, dark cave with no space for us to put any light. And so Scott had to render that, and it was not, sharp angles or anything. It was really, he was modeling the inside of a carved out cave. And we had to go to negotiate. We had to go negotiate with the production designer and with the cinematographer and say, we need some space here so that we can light this set, so we can put these things in here and create these kind of effects. And I don't think that we would have been able to do that without Vectorworks, and without a tool to show people really how dark it was going to be.
When we do our walkthroughs, our virtual walkthroughs in shaded view, I use the 3D connection mouse to fly around so that everybody can see it and understand what we're doing. And having reflections and camera settings in shaded view, these are all the things that kind of help improve how well it looks, because the cinematographer wants it to look as realistic as possible. He wants it to look just like it does in camera.
We play a really integral role with Marvel Productions, creating the effects that people see that really tell the story of the characters, what their colors are, what their powers are. All of those things are really done through light. So it all starts there. If you can't see it, you can't shoot it, and nobody will know it was done until we turn on the lights.